Picture this. It's past midnight in a tiny, smoky pool hall in the mid-2000s, and one arrogant jerk has spent the entire night acting like he owns the place. He cuts the line, ignores everyone, steals a billiard ball, and hides in the bathroom just to ruin our game. And then he makes one final mistake. He decides to drive home drunk while mocking us on his way out. What happened next got him pulled over by police less than 15 minutes later and completely changed his night forever. If you enjoy stories about karma catching up to terrible people, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel's silent comeback, and turn on bell notifications so you never miss upcoming revenge stories. And trust me, this one is unbelievably satisfying. This happened about 20 years ago. Back in the mid-2000s, before smartphones, before social media exploded, and before everyone walked around glued to a screen, my friends and I had a weekly ritual. Every Friday night, we'd drive to this small billiards place in a neighboring town. Nothing fancy, just a dimly lit pool hall tucked beside a strip mall with faded neon signs glowing in the windows. The carpet smelled faintly like cigarette smoke that had been trapped there since the 90s. Sports highlights played endlessly on old televisions mounted in the corners. The sound of pool balls cracking together echoed every few seconds while classic rock hummed through the speakers overhead. Honestly, it was perfect. We were in our early 20s, broke, and trying to enjoy life without spending much money. So we'd throw a few quarters down for games, order cheap drinks, talk trash to each other, and spend hours there just hanging out. And for months, everything was peaceful, no drama, no fights, just good vibes. Then one night, this guy showed up, and instantly, the entire mood changed. At first, he didn't seem like a huge problem. He looked like the typical loud bar regular. Mid-30s maybe, leather jacket, greasy hair slicked back, constant smirk on his face like he thought he was the smartest guy in every room he entered. The first weird thing he did was take over the billiards table we'd been waiting for. Now, technically, that wasn't against the rules. At pool halls like this, you usually wait your turn by placing quarters on the edge of the table. Everybody understands the system, except apparently this guy. My friends and I had stepped back for a minute while talking near the bar, and suddenly he swoops in with another guy, racks the balls, and starts playing like nobody else exists. Annoying? Sure, but not worth starting drama over. So we waited. 20 minutes go by, then 30. My friend Eric finally walks over casually and says, "Hey man, we got next game." Simple, respectful. The guy barely even looked at him. He just leaned over the table, lining up a shot, and muttered, "Yeah, sure." Except he clearly had no intention of letting us play. The second their game ended, he immediately started another one with different people. No acknowledgement, no apology, nothing. At this point, everyone nearby was noticing it. Even another woman waiting for the table spoke up. "Actually, they were ahead of me too," she said, pointing at us. The guy completely ignored her, didn't even turn his head. That's when the irritation really started building inside me. Because there's something uniquely infuriating about people who know exactly what they're doing and enjoy doing it. You could tell this guy loved pushing buttons, loved testing boundaries, loved seeing how much he could get away with. Still, we tried keeping our cool. Nobody wanted to get into a ridiculous bar fight over a pool table. So we waited, again, and the later it got, the more obnoxious this guy became. He got louder, more arrogant. Every time somebody tried speaking to him, he'd smirk like he was above everyone there. Then came the moment that pushed everything over the edge. Eventually, the guy wandered off toward the bathroom. The second he disappeared, we saw our chance. Eric quickly slapped quarters onto the table rail. Finally, he said, "Our turn." We started setting up the game. The balls dropped into the tray beneath the table, but something was missing. We checked again. One ball was gone. The green 6-ball. At first, we thought it might have gotten stuck somewhere inside the machine. Then realization hit us all at once. That idiot took it, my friend muttered. And sure enough, a minute later, someone saw the outline of a pool ball bulging from a guy's jacket pocket as he walked into the bathroom. The dude had literally stolen a billiard ball just so nobody else could play. That's the kind of petty psychopath we were dealing with. At that point, even the bartender looked annoyed. We called the manager over and explained everything. The manager sighed like this wasn't the first time this guy had caused problems. But it was already around 12:30 a.m. Last call was coming soon. And instead of throwing the guy out, the manager just said, "Look, I don't want to see this late. I'll grab another ball." So he did. We finally started our game. And honestly, we should have just left right there because the guy wasn't done. A few minutes later, the bathroom door swings open. Out walks Captain Ego himself, holding the missing green ball in one hand and a beer in the other. He sees us playing, sees the replacement ball on the table, and immediately realizes we figured out what he did. Then he smiles, not embarrassed, not apologetic, smug, like he was proud of himself. He strolls outside the patio for a cigarette while still carrying the stolen ball around like some trophy. Even people at nearby tables were shaking their heads at this clown. Then came the final act. He walks back inside just as the bartender announces last call. Without saying a word, he casually tosses the green 6-ball across the table. Crack! The ball slammed into several others, scattering our entire game. Then he laughed, actually laughed, and walked toward the bar to order another drink. That was the moment something changed. Because up until then, we'd been trying to stay reasonable, trying to be mature, try not to escalate things. But this guy clearly believed there were zero consequences for acting like a complete jerk. And my friend Jason finally snapped. Not violently, not loudly, just quietly, calmly. He leaned toward us and said, we should follow him home and report him as a drunk driver. The table went silent for a second. Back then, we all carried those old Nextel push-to-talk phones. You know, the chirping walkie-talkie things everybody had in the early 2000s. Eric immediately started grinning. No way. Jason nodded. Oh, absolutely. Now, before anybody judges us too harshly, the guy had absolutely been drinking. A lot, and he was already acting recklessly and aggressively all night. Honestly, somebody probably should have reported him anyway, so the plan formed incredibly fast. Once he left, we'd split up into separate cars. One friend would tail him from a distance. The rest of us would call the highway patrol independently and report an erratic driver, multiple callers, multiple descriptions, multiple reports of swerving. The goal wasn't some elaborate setup. We just wanted karma to introduce itself personally. 15 minutes later, the guy finally stumbled out of the bar. He climbed into this beat-up sedan and peeled out of the parking lot way too aggressively. Game on. My friend Mike followed behind him while the rest of us spread out and started making calls. One by one, we fed dispatch the same details. License plate, vehicle model, color, location. He's swerving. He nearly hit another car. He's driving all over the road. The adrenaline was insane. Every chirp from our Nextels felt like we were coordinating some low-budget spy operation. But we had one major problem. Time. We figured the guy probably lived nearby since he frequented the place. If he got home before the police found him, the whole thing was over. So Mike kept updating us while trailing behind him. He's heading east. Still driving. Cop just passed going the other direction. Then suddenly, silence. A few seconds later, Mike's phone chirped loudly. His voice sounded almost hysterical from excitement. Oh my God! What happened? We yelled. The cop pulled between us. Pause. Then, the lights just came on. We completely lost it. Screaming, laughing, cheering inside our cars like our team had just won the Super Bowl. After an entire night of this guy acting untouchable, reality finally caught up to him. Mike drove past slowly afterward and said the guy looked furious standing outside his car while the officer questioned him. And honestly, good, because for once, he couldn't smirk his way out of consequences. Now here's the funniest part. A few days later, we checked the local police blotter in the newspaper. Sure enough, there it was. The exact traffic stop, the exact vehicle, the exact guy, except he hadn't been arrested for drunk driving. No, it turned out he'd been driving on a suspended license, which somehow made the entire thing even more satisfying, because apparently this wasn't just some random jerk having a bad night. This was someone who already had a history of making terrible decisions. And eventually, those decisions caught up with him, all because he couldn't stop acting like an obnoxious bully in a pool hall. The image that still sticks in my head after all these years is that moment when the police lights flashed on behind him. That instant realization. 1 second, he's walking around with that smug grin, convinced he owns the night. The next, pulled over on the side of the road, while multiple police reports describe his reckless driving. And the best revenge wasn't even what we planned. We thought maybe he'd get a warning, maybe a sobriety test. Instead, the guy ended up arrested because he never should have been driving in the first place. That's the thing about people like this. Eventually, their own behavior traps them. All we did was speed the process up a little. Looking back now, it's honestly crazy how one arrogant guy turned a normal Friday night into a story we still laugh about decades later. And maybe the lesson here is simple. If you spend all night treating people badly, eventually somebody's going to stop letting it slide. Karma doesn't always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it arrives with flashing red and blue lights. If this story was satisfying, hit the like button, subscribe to Silent Comeback, and turn on bell notifications because you'll get updates for all upcoming revenge stories. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying instant karma moment you've ever witnessed? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.